Self-management for guidance practitioners. Key characters. Guidance practitioner Emma. Emma is a career guidance practitioner in a local employment service in Dublin, Ireland. Emma has over 5 years' experience of working with long-term unemployed individuals who typically access employment services, with a number of challenging barriers to training, education, and employment. Emma recently achieved a higher diploma in adult guidance and counseling, and she is passionate about helping those in disadvantaged areas to identify and further develop their innate skills and attributes as relevant to the world of work. Job seeker Laura. Laura is a 48-year-old female job seeker who has been unemployed for over 4 years. Laura is an intelligent and diligent person who, through years of unemployment, has lost confidence in her own abilities. Laura shows a sense of hopelessness and failure and is unsure about her future employment prospects. Background. Labor market activation policy of the government requires unemployed job seekers to be actively looking for jobs and available for work. In order to continue to receive unemployment payments, job seekers must demonstrate they are taking steps to find employment. Job seekers are referred to the contract service and obliged to attend meetings with guidance staff and may lose benefits if they do not attend. Contracted services operate in areas where levels of high unemployment, and in particular youth unemployment, are historically endemic. The profile of clients referred for employment support services are defined as long and short-term unemployed activation job seekers aged 18 to 65. In addition, services also provide support to one-parent families, those with disabilities and illnesses, retired people, and new communities. Contracted employment support services work with clients to assist and support them to find employment, training, and further education opportunities. Clients can also get pre- and post-employment support, access to state funding for training and education, and external referrals for additional support, such as counseling and support for addiction-related challenges. In the contracted employment support services, guidance staff must meet activation job seekers on a monthly basis for what are known as activation review meetings. These guidance and support meetings are designed to assess a person's progress in job searching, upskilling, and/or further training and education. In the government activation program, there is an emphasis on an employment-first approach that contracted services are asked to follow. About Emma. Emma is one of the guidance staff working in the contracted service and meets with job seekers sent to the service as part of the labor market activation. Emma works with 120 clients at any one time. She is required to provide the same level of career guidance and support to each of her clients. Working with so many clients simultaneously means that she is responsible for a very large amount of administrative work, which is a crucial task to keep the work of the organization running smoothly. Guidance practitioners in the contracted services must be highly organized, great with details, good at problem solving, and flexible. They must also thrive on making things run well to support the overall mission of their organization. They also have to maintain and duplicate administrative and data entry work across 2 databases, one external and one internal, to record client activity. Guidance staff must record their interactions with the activated job seekers on the government computer system. This is used to process claims and customer payments across all programs for unemployed people in the state. In addition to updating the system, the guidance practitioners also have the responsibility of updating an internal customer relationship management (CRM) system to record client activity for their specific service. Both systems require regular input of client information, which must be confidential and factual only. This requires Emma to exercise a great degree of professional discretion and confidentiality when it comes to inserting and retaining client information. This information must be accurate at all times, as it may have repercussions for retention or client welfare payments and potential investigation. Maintaining accurate records comes with added pressure for Emma, who already works in a fast-paced, hectic, and often chaotic environment. Guidance practitioners must report clients who do not attend appointments or engage under the activation model for good reason. This can cause particular difficulty in the client-practitioner relationship, where a confidential and empathetic relationship has been forged, and where a certain level of mutual trust has evolved to support and act in the best interests of both individuals. Emma must engage with the department staff via email and phone and list reasons for noncompliance by the client. Involvement in this process has the potential to damage the client-practitioner relationship, in some cases beyond repair. Emma has reported that this has created tension across working relationships with her clients in the past. In addition to administrative tasks, Emma must have strong time management skills and must be able to multitask. An average day consists of her seeing 5 or more clients, completing registration forms, and taking details which must be immediately loaded onto the relevant databases to record relevant and up-to-date client activity. This is vital if quarterly reports are to reflect accurate statistics and client engagement models. She is also expected to continue professional development and participate in any other relevant training that becomes available or is offered directly. Delivering good guidance. In addition to all other responsibilities, Emma endeavors to work with all of her clients in a holistic manner, regardless of how they have approached the service, and to help them to develop a personal progression plan. These individual action plans allow clients to set career goals while remaining engaged, fulfilled, and enthusiastic about their future. She assists them with CVs and cover letter preparation. She also helps them practicing interview skills and techniques, source industry standard training, state funding, upskilling, and identifying further educational opportunities. Each action subsequently improves the future employability of the client. She imparts guidance and counseling skills such as empathy, active listening, and reflection, coupled with unconditional positive regard, encouragement, and positive feedback to help change indecisive thinking and uncertainty. Laura's story. Laura is a 48-year-old female job seeker who first met Emma in 2017. She is categorized as long-term unemployed since 2010. Emma's first impression of Laura was that she was down-to-earth, jovial, and friendly. She was a thinker, a talker, and a self-styled realist. Despite these positive qualities, she seemed lonely and troubled. She lived alone in a property which she describes as just about habitable. Laura's appearance was unkempt, and she was disheveled. She often apologized for her appearance and attributed it to the negative effects of loneliness and long-term unemployment. When a client presents in this state, they have an uphill battle to climb, and it takes time in many guidance sessions to help them work through the many difficulties and distresses they encounter on a daily basis. The dissatisfaction with life and loss of purpose that has become so familiar to them. In the first few guidance sessions with Laura, Emma used a person-centered, empathetic approach as they gradually became more familiar with one another. Later on, in the therapeutic relationship, she negotiated a more pluralistic and collaborative approach to support and guide her through her individual journey. Emma used the guidance skills of open questioning and listening with empathy, which allowed her to observe and attend to Laura in such a way that she developed a greater understanding of her and her world. Laura revealed to Emma that she had been experiencing a terrible sense of loss due to losing her identity as an employee and had a lack of social contact with the outside world since becoming long-term unemployed. Many of her friends had moved abroad during Ireland's recession and have since moved on with their lives. Laura would tell Emma that she felt like a failure and had felt increasingly isolated, helpless, and hopeless. Any prospect of turning her life around and obtaining a job seemed out of reach. It was clear to Emma from very early on in the guidance sessions that Laura was capable and intelligent but lacked the motivation to push herself forward. She was keen for Laura to overcome her overriding sense of hopelessness, anxiety, and resultant depression that had set in over the years due to loneliness and unemployment. She knew this would take time and patience on both their parts. Over a number of guidance sessions, Emma decided to introduce to her the possibility of engagement in training, education, and employment. She gave her support and guidance without being overly directive. This empowered and motivated Laura. However, Emma noticed that each time she moved to explore a more definite option, Laura would immediately revert back to a familiar place where she lacked confidence in her own abilities. She took her time, showing empathy and understanding, and gently made her aware of various work placement programs that she could avail of, which would bridge the gap from her last employment in 2008. Laura would often present at guidance sessions in an anxious state, fearing that she had to have a plan of action pulled together or something to show Emma, and she was frightened that her unemployment payment may be reduced or cut if she did not take action soon. Emma was also experiencing pressure within her organization to take on additional new clients and was feeling overwhelmed. Laura would ebb and flow from positivity to negativity over the next few guidance sessions, but finally decided to undertake a community-based, state-funded employment placement program for unemployed job seekers, where she would work in a local service she was already familiar with. By chance, a position had been created, and she felt comfortable in an office environment in which she was gaining additional skills, experience, and knowledge. This clerical role provided her with in-house training and an opportunity to socialize and network. Accepting the placement also helped alleviate the pressure she was feeling from government department's job-first approach to do something. While on the unemployment placement, Laura would no longer receive the job seeker's welfare payment for a year and was employed on a part-time basis with a local community service. This gave her a bit of breathing space and time to think about where she was and what she might do in the year ahead. At the time of writing, Laura has now finished her work placement. Emma has met with her on a few occasions to discuss what her next moves might be. The one-year employment placement has given Laura the chance to relearn about herself in a work environment, and most importantly, the opportunity to socialize and network with other people. As her guidance practitioner, Emma has noticed a significant shift in terms of her mood and general demeanor. She has a certain spring in her step, and she generally seems more upbeat. Laura is, however, concerned that she will have to apply for job seekers' payments, and she has a huge desire not to return to that dark place, as she calls it. Now that Laura is in a different space, Emma is keen to prevent her from returning to feeling hopeless and helpless about her life. She has spoken to her about where she was a year ago, and how with time things can change when you make a positive difference to your life. She has also pointed the pattern of helplessness she had displayed in relation to many events in her life. Taking this on board, Laura recognized that blaming others and avoiding personal responsibility lead to longer-term problems. Emma has helped Laura understanding how her negative responses to life events can lead to psychological discomfort and resultant anxiety. With a broadened mind and greater self-awareness, Laura is now aware that she does not yet have a much-coveted job, but feels capable of finding solutions to her problems and acknowledging how she feels in the moment and addressing it with positive reaction. Working to deliver good quality career guidance whilst observing comprehensive administration, contractual requirements and limitations can be a fine balancing act between what best practice is and what is mandated. Emma needs to negotiate a way to manage her administrative responsibilities whilst also managing a large caseload of clients and remaining committed to the procedural agreement as an employee of a contracted employment service.